Good morning, teachers. We are 21 in the room. Okay, I hope that you have your breakfast. Okay, let's start. May I ask for a like react if you can hear me clearly? Is my audio clear? Okay, great. You also have fast internet connection. That's good. Okay, by the way, if my audio is too loud, please be the one to minimize the volume. Okay, how about a heart react? If you can see the screen I'm sharing right now. You see the greeting, hello there, teachers. Okay. May I hear your good morning greetings? You may unmute and greet me good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Good
ma'am.
morning po.
morning.
Good
Okay.
morning
Good
po.
morning po.
Good morning
Mhm.
po.
Okay, good morning, teachers. You know what? I just want to share this. Last night we had a power interruption, like around 11:30 until 2:30 a.m. And I was thinking of waking up early and then sending you an announcement about this. But thank God, like around 2:30 a.m. we regained our power of electricity. So I hope, right, that you are ready for today. I hope you also read the announcement or the announcement, but a reminder on what materials to prepare, right, this morning. Okay, let's have our prayer. May I ask for someone to lead us in prayer? Teacher Faith, are you there? So you
Hello,
may.
ma'am. Ako po ba?
Yes, thank you.
And you just bow our heads and close your eyes. Ama, maraming salamat po sa araw na ito na pinagkaloob niyo po sa amin. Ama, maraming salamat po sa lahat po ng blessings po na tatanggap po namin ngayon at maraming salamat po at buhay po kami. Ama, maraming salamat po dahil pinagkatipon-tipon niyo po kami para sa araw na ito at sana po marami din po kami matutunan ngayon. Ama, pasensya, patawad po sa aming mga nagawang kasalanan. Dati lamang po ang aming talangin sa pangalan ni Jesus, aming tagapagligtas. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for the prayer, right, of gratitude that we are alive, right, and you're healthy. This morning, by the way, if you're sick, I suggest you leave the room, right, so at least you can take your rest. I don't want you to stress yourself out. Okay, so before we have the human check, may I ask everyone to turn on their videos or start their videos or cameras. Okay, so we can have our screenshot before we dig deeper into our discussion. Okay, good morning. That's why my eyes are like this because it was so hot last night with the power interruption and all. Okay. All right. Okay. Good morning, faces to everybody. Okay, let's smile. One. Ready? One, two, three. Smile. Okay, one more. Okay, that will do. If you can stay with me with your video on, especially later, right? We are going to have our pre-activity, right? As we have our discussion. Okay, let's have our human check now. Please type in the chat your one-word response to the question, how are you feeling this morning? Okay, I expect that many will say feeling sleepy. That's understandable. It's so early, especially if you also had sleepless night. Right, last night. Wow, feeling motivated. Thank you for that. I am too. I pray for this, and indeed, right, we're able to have this class. Okay, feeling hungry. I suggest at least you drink your coffee or hot chocolate, or just drink cold water, right? For well, if that's your thing, right, to at least awaken your spirit this morning. Okay, feeling great. Okay, that's good to hear. Wait, let me admit the others. Feeling great, hungry, please eat. You may eat your breakfast while being with me. However, later on we'll have hands-on activity. Okay, good. Okay, feeling nervous. Why is that? Okay, maybe that's excitement. This is what I tell my students that you better turn your nervousness into excitement. I mean, yeah, in whatever situation you're in, especially if you have like performance to do. Thankful. Yeah, I really would love to feel that every day, right? To feel grateful, to feel thankful of the family that we have, or the friends that we have, even for the basic uh, needs that we receive. Yeah, thank you so much. So majority we have positive energy, right, in the chat. But again, it's okay to feel your emotions. It's okay to really admit that you are tired. Let's not pretend that we are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically exhausted, because once in a while you will be reminded by God that it's okay. It's okay to feel that. There's a time for that as well. Okay, so is there anyone who's feeling sick this morning? If there's one, yeah, I suggest you take your rest. Okay, and I don't want you again to stress yourself out. So, talking about that, I don't know if you've seen my post, because it's not really an announcement to students, it's a memo to teachers and other authorities in the university about easing their requirement. And to tell you, I think I've already oriented you about this, uh, that the activities that I prepared in the module for this semester are definitely lessened compared to last semester. But just in case you, or as a class, you've decided, okay, I think it's okay not to do this as a class, so just tell me. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, because if you also have, the memo also includes teachers who ask students to do reporting. So if you have one, you may report to me so I can also report. Okay, because again, we are in a very disturbing and detrimental season right now, and I would like to echo that the university hears and feels you, teachers. Okay, so yeah, we'll also have meeting tomorrow about the memorandum, because it was just released last, I think, Monday, right, or during the weekend. So yeah, you will be updated about that. Okay, I think you are excited to start. Right. Okay. Let's start with sharing of output before I ask if you have prepared the materials for today's activity. Let's start. Okay. I just chose some, and as you notice, very elementary activity, right, or very kindergarten, but you all did great, right? Look at this. It's so perfect. Like, look at the tracing here. Some of you used Google Drawing, some of you used a Microsoft Paint, as I've seen, and one used a thick lining with colors. This one just pencil. Okay, another. Yeah, you were asked to simply trace. May asked for feedback. How's the experience of tracing? This one looks so perfect. I mean, with the tracing activity. Anyone who'd like to share the experience? Was it hard to do it virtually, the tracing? May I call Teacher Sam? Are you there, Teacher Sam?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. How is the
So,
experience of with the tracing activity?
so, yung sa pagte-tracing po, medyo madali po siya sa akin kasi
Mm-hmm.
medyo gamay po yung pagte-trace po, gamit po yung, pag may mouse po,
Mm-hmm.
yun po.
Okay, yeah, right. So it's different now. It's different now, and many software applications are even used by kids using their fingers, for example, on tracing on an iPad instead of using mere pencil or crayon. Right, that is now the 21st century way of tracing. Okay, and yeah, you're right. It's better, right, or it's easier to some if they are using a mouse. Okay, or if you have a very nice trackpad, maybe that will do. Or if you also have an external tablet, right, for that, or drawing pad. Another activity, again, you were asked, right, to replicate the lines on the left side, and this caught my my attention. This is so creative, right? You were so creative. If this is your work, please unmute and share to us what what came into your mind of of doing this. Like, it's not simply your replicate, but you were also creative to think of realistic drawings, I might say, right? Or living and I mean nature. I don't know, what is this, zipper? Okay, and there's a telephone, just to portray the lines. Is this your work? If this is your work, please unmute. This is so creative. But yeah, basic instruction is to simply replicate the straight, zigzag, wavy, dotted, and curly. And yeah, I mean, students also think this way. I mean, your kids in the future, your pupils in the future will actually give you this kind, these different perspectives about your instructions. And yeah, we just like it to acknowledge each performance of the kid, and even give them proper recognition for that because they were being creative. Okay. Another, you were asked to do, okay, the upside down drawing. Who among you can say that it's difficult for this one because you have to start right the bottom part of the actual drawing? Some of you used, for instance, this one. It also looked flawless even with just the use of lines, but you also use right original picture. May I ask teacher Mary Ann? Okay, you may unmute, ma'am. Have you done this? By the way, okay, the deadline is just for time management, so maybe some of you haven't turned in. Teacher Marianne, have you turned in your work? Yeah, you are unmuted now. You may speak. I think it's your audio. You may fix your audio for. Okay, we can hear you now.
Hello po, ma'am. Good morning.
Hello. Are you through with this activity or?
Yes po, ma'am. Tapos ko na po. Napasa ko po.
Okay, and your output is not on the slide right now?
Ah, check ko po, ma'am. Wait po.
No, I mean
Sorry.
you can't recall your output.
Ah,
It's okay. Or just share with us your experience of doing this. Was it difficult?
ano
What?
po, ma'am. Actually, ano po, nahirapan po ako kasi
Mm.
sa phone lang po yung gamit ko.
Okay. But how about the idea that it's upside down drawing? Was it challenging?
Yes po.
Mm-hmm.
Maganda po siya gawin. Yun lang nga po. Tsaka challenging po. Yun lang po. Yung phone lang po yung gamit.
Yeah. Is this also the first time you encountered upside down drawing activity?
Yes po.
Okay. So again, this is somehow a different level of complexity that you may also apply in the future. You are not expecting, a perfect, flawless lines of the drawing, right, from your pupils. For instance, this one is also cute, right? I can see this is an iPhone or any smartphone, and then there, logos or icons of the application, and it's also cute, right? So this one is definitely, one product that you may expect in the future. This one, I mean, these two, right, are, I can say, are really made by artists because look at the drawing. I just hope it's not simply the flipping of the drawing or picture that you can find online. Okay, that is something to do with your honesty, but this, because this one is so perfect, maybe that you really have, the artist in you. Teacher Jennifer, you'd like to share?
Ay, ma'am, hindi po ako artist, ma'am.
Oh, but which one is your work here?
Yung kabayo po, ma'am.
Wow! Oh my God, that's so. What app did you use here?
Ano po, ma'am, may gamit po akong tablet na may stylus.
That's why. Yeah, that's why it can really be seen as flawless. And but you can say, yeah, you're saying that you're not an artist, but look at this, right? Even with the, it's right, it's complicated to draw the connecting lines. And this, was it challenging, Teacher Jennifer?
Opo, ma'am, kasi po, yun nga po, hindi po ako artist, ma'am. So, mahirap po, ma'am, mag-drawing.
Mhm.
Tapos, po, nung pinaliktad ko po, ma'am, parang paningin ko po, ma'am, parang, ano tawag doon? Unicorn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I also thought of that, right? Because yeah, I mean, we can see a horn here of additional. I don't know if that's the original, but you did great here. Congratulations, Teacher Jennifer. But initially, what is the purpose of you having the external drawing tablet if it's not for drawing? Teacher Jennifer? Because you mentioned that you have,
Sorry po, ma'am. Sorry po. Ano pa?
you mentioned that you have external drawing tablet. right? When you did this, may I know what's the initial purpose of that? If you're saying that you're not an artist.
The purpose po, parang ma'am yung may nabasa pa ako kasi ma'am at first sabi ko po, yung upside down drawing. So
Mm-hmm.
nag-search po ako ma'am. Tapos yung na-find out ko po ma'am, yung parang yung left brain ba yun?
Mm-hmm.
Yung nag-aano po siya tapos unti-unti mong hindi mo alam at first,
Mm-hmm.
hindi mo talaga alam ang gagawin mo kung
Mm-hmm.
wala kang nasa isip pero may ginagaya ka.
Mm-hmm.
So yung ayun tablet ba?
Yeah.
Sorry, ano ba?
It's okay. It's okay. That's one.
Bakit may ganun po ako? Nahirap
Yeah.
kasi ako
Ah, okay. Okay, that's
kasi
good.
medyo mahirap kasi hindi po ako marunong. Kaya
Mm-hmm.
mahihirapan pa ako kasi hindi po talaga ako marunong.
Mm-hmm. But again, your output, right? Said another. Okay, thank you for this, teacher Jennifer. Okay, there's one also that caught my right my attention. I like that you know you had a breakdown of parts, right? Body parts, we can say, of the owl, right? Look at this, it's so cute, right? At the same time, it's like you have cut out parts as a kid, and then you just try to put them together so you can create that one owl. Okay, another. Yeah, this one, I've seen and noticed different output, and maybe it's somehow difficult again to do it in a virtual environment, even if you have pattern of right boxes where you are going to draw right certain lines. Look at the right. Look at the images of our cat. I think the most, yeah. Okay, I think the nearest right images of the cat would be this one. Okay, design color and this one. I think yeah, this is so flawless. Right? I think this teacher made use of the Microsoft Paint. I think that's more flawless to do. How about this? How about drawing the cat using grid or grid lines? I call teacher Via.
Good morning po.
Good morning.
Ako po, doon po sa buong output po, simula po din sa tracing hanggang
Mm-hmm.
dyan po sa, din sa may grid lines na po na magdodraw.
Mm-hmm.
Nahirapan po ako.
Mm-hmm.
Yun. Kasi una, hindi naman po ako artist din, katulad ng sinasabi ni Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Hindi ako marunong mag-drawing po, ganun. Tapos, hindi ko din po alam na kung ano yung mga pwedeng applications na pwedeng gamitin. And phone lang din po kasi yung gamit ko. So medyo natagalan po, parang kada isang line ay sa isang box pa lang yung drawing mo, medyo kapag mali, bura ulit. So parang ilang beses niyo po siya ulit-ulitin. So,
yeah, especially if you're only using your finger, right, and you don't have stylus pen.
Opo, yun. Pero ako naman pag gumamit po ako ng DIY para medyo madali po.
Nice.
So,
Okay, would you mind sharing that DIY pen?
Gumamit po ako ng pen, tas cotton po na binasak. Nilagay po siya.
Wow! So resourceful.
Tas nilagyan lang po ng scotch tape para hindi po maano yung cotton na nandun sa pencil.
So you won't scratch the screen of your phone. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Okay, so other teachers, you may also try, right, to do that. It's very resourceful and creative on your part, teacher Via. Okay, another, the dog. I think majority of you did well, right, on the dog part. Like all of these look so similar, right, with the original, especially this one, right, and this one. Look at this. Right? Do you see any difference? I think it's just the contrast, right, of the color. But all in all, look at this. This is perfect, I might say. Yeah, this one is also cute, right? I can see emotion, right, through the eyes of the dog. So, can you give clap react, right, to everybody who have accomplished this? Okay, great. Right, but there's another. I think a more challenging activity that you also did. So congratulations also to those who have finished this output, right? Where I asked you to uh, actually, this one was adopted. I included that, right, in the instruction, adapted from art with Mr. E. So I asked you to prepare the materials you need for the activity, and all of you made, followed, right, step by step procedure. So congratulations. This one is really interesting, right, with Sir, because it's very small. I mean, the cardboard was so small, right? To others, you challenge yourself by, right, putting lines. I like the sharpness of the lines here. This one, and for the three, you use black and white, right? And how's experience in doing this activity? This one really needs time, right? Needs effort, time, and focus, because you have to go dot to dot across the entire line, and you shouldn't continue to do this or it will create a kind of boring column. That's why it needs to be, from small and then you go bigger, right? Anyone who'd like to share? Mm-hmm. Yes, you are unmuted now. Who is that? It's okay. Yeah, you may share. Yeah, Teacher Celeste. Sorry, Celeste. Would you like to share your experience in doing this? Okay, Teacher GL, go. Thank you for raising hand. You may unmute now, Teacher GL.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Morning po.
Good morning.
Wala pa nakakaduling.
Yeah, because it somehow creates illusion, right? Okay. But how about the time allotted? The time that you allotted on this activity?
Akin po kasi ginawa ko siya ng almost 2 days kaya
Wow.
medyo feeling ko po matagal din. Kasi sa una po hindi mo alam kung maganda yung kakalabasan ng gawa mo kaya nakailang ulit din po.
Okay. But yeah, that's one good thing, right, about this is that you will be surprised at the end, right, of how it would look like. Okay, so congratulations. There's also one who raised hand, Teacher Meljon. Would you like to share your experience here?
Morning, ma'am.
Morning.
So sa akin po, mahirap po gawin, especially kapag nilalakihan na yung bilog. Tapos sa experience ko po, nung nag-start na po ako, hindi ko po kasi alam kung ano yung dapat kalabasan. So habang nag-circle-circle po ako, hindi ko alam kung tama po ba yung ginawa ko. Kaya ulit-ulit po ako nang gawa. Pero pag nakatapos na, ang cool po niya tignan, although parang ang sikip-sikip, parang medyo kadiri po siya tignan. Kaya po ang ginawa ko, tignan ko po yung akin para hindi masyadong tignan, parang medyo kadiri tignan. I know.
Oh, okay. Maybe, yeah, especially if you are not fond of, because we can see somehow they look like what, caterpillars, right? Something like that. So that's why you can see that it somehow, looks gross, right, on your part. Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea as well that you put color into it. So again, let's give party popper to everyone who has done this, because again, this really takes time and you really did great, right, in all your outputs. Okay, may I ask everyone to turn on their videos now, because we're going to do a pre-activity. Okay, let's do this. Okay, may I see your leaves? May I see your leaves, teachers? Leaves again. Yes. Okay, yeah, I also have this. Wow, it can be seen now. It's not being, interrupted by my, okay, I think, yeah, in my green screen. Okay. Okay, how about your, varied shapes, right, and sizes of leaves? Okay, there's no pressure. I don't want you to really think, but if you are thinking now of a theme, given that I already gave you the materials, well, that's better. If you don't have theme or idea yet, it's okay, right? It will be, uh, you know, free activity as well. Okay, how about your acrylic paint or your watercolor? I have here watercolor with me. Is yeah, but these are not mine. Watercolors are my sister's. So okay, great. So at least yeah, anything that you can use, right? Watercolors. I also have my ready palette here, so I think it's better if you have something to put right parts there. Okay, yeah, you also have that, teacher Faye. Okay, and another your white cardstock, your also paper, or any somehow thicker, right, paper than the usual paper, right? Okay, I have here as well. Again, this is my sister's as well. Everything because she's an artist, so I borrowed everything from her. Okay, this time, yeah, I will not be using acrylic paint. That's why I also prepared water uh, beside me. Okay, so are you ready? Okay, we're going to do this. Okay, leaf a painting. Who among you are familiar with this one? Or have you done this before? Leaf painting. Okay, the output on the left side, right, is made of acrylic paint, and the other one just to create, different dimension or at least texture, right? It creates that, and this one, the one on the right, is made of watercolor. Okay, again, we are not simply expected or required to follow. For instance, they only use the output made use of one color per leaf, but in our case you may use different colors in one leaf, so it's up to your imagination and your creativity. Okay, shall we start? Can you give me heart react if you're ready? Yeah, thank you for this. Okay, let's start by applying a generous or even amount of paint to the back of our leaf. Okay, let's try. Let's do this now. Okay, you may start painting. Oops. Yeah, in my case, I chose some of bright colors and primary colors. Okay. So again, it's up to you on. Okay. I suggest you don't put so much water into the color, so it will not be that wet. Okay. You may also have your tissue beside you already, so you can do it. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm putting two colors on one leaf. Again, it's up to you if you are creative enough to think of a theme. Okay, I think I need to put on more watercolor. Oops. Okay, are you through? I'm not yet done. Wait for a while. Okay, again, at the back of your leaf, so we can even feel and see the veins there. Okay, may I see now? Can you hold your leaf with paint? Sorry. Yeah, take your time. No pressure. Wow, someone is even using a very big paintbrush. Teacher Cherry, you have big paintbrush there. Does that mean you also have big leaf? No? Is that a big leaf? I can see your painting. Okay, may I see your leaves now with with paint on its back? Okay, may I hold this for a while? It's better again if you have tissue. Wow, that's a different kind of leaf. What is that called, Teacher Michaela?
Hindi ko rin po alam.
Okay, but I can see, right? Okay, let's. Okay, it's being transparent now. Okay, can you? Sorry, let's wait for the others. so we can have our picture or photo opportunity before we press this firmly onto the cardstock or drawing notebook page. Okay, ready? I hope it will not get dry yet. Okay, if you're ready, you may, yeah, just turn this like this. Okay, ready? Okay, I think my chart is ready. Okay, you may, yeah, take it. Okay, smile with your leaf. At the first step. Wow, nice color. Okay, one, two, three. Okay, and now let's do this. Thank you for that. Let's press firmly onto our cardstock. Okay. Press firmly. Be very careful. Make sure that somehow the veins, right, can be felt there. Okay, take your time in pressing it firmly. It's better if we'll just do it once. Right? So the lines will be, realistic and natural. Take your time, press it firmly. Okay, if you have more leaves, you may continue painting, right? You may continue applying generous amount or even amount of paint to the back of your leaf, because maybe you are thinking about a theme, right, or a subject. If you're then pressing that firmly, wow, this looks gorgeous. Okay, I'm enjoying this one. Okay. Again, take your time. Okay, take your time. Oops. You take your time to do the rest because maybe you have other leaves there and you need more time. So this time I won't disturb you yet. Need more. Need more watercolor. Alright. Are you loving the texture of this painting activity? This is fun, right? I mean, your kids in the future will also, they will definitely enjoy this. Right? Anything hands-on is actually perfect for kids. Yeah, take your time, choose the right colors that you're thinking of. Then if you're done, press it firmly on the paper. Then I'm going to press it now again. Oops. Okay, pressing it firmly with my fingers. Okay, in my case, I use one leaf, right, to be pressed on two different sides. Later on, you may also explain why is that the theme or design of your output. What we're going to do again, I need to explain this so you know on how to apply this in the future. This again inductive. So before we dig deeper into theories or the general concept of this, we are doing it first. Then later on, we'll understand some elements. Okay, nice. Okay, I'm done to my next. Amazing. I am loving this. Okay, take your time. It's better if the veins are embossed and can really be felt. So it will create, value. Okay, this time I'm gonna use white on my other leaf. You might also find this kind of watercolor in the market, like watercolor in acrylic paint container or two. Because we're used to the watercolors, I think I've seen the watercolors where we're used to buying when we were kids. That they're ready in a palette. I think I need to put more white. Okay, applying generous amount, even amount. I hope you're enjoying the colors that you have chosen. Oops. In my case, I applied white paint all over the back of my leaf. The leaf bigger than the previous. Okay, after that. After my white, I'm gonna put on yellow. And yellow this time. If I'm doing perfectly. More yellow. It's better if you also apply that onto the veins. This is fine. Oops. Okay, and for my last step, I'm gonna press this firmly. This will be my last leaf. Oops. And someone through. I'm still down on my last leaf. Pressing it firmly. Veins. Of course, I mean you're adults, and definitely your work is more neat, right, than your pupils in the future's right output. But you may also guide them, or you may start demonstrating it first, or you may do it together, so they will receive assistance as well. Okay, are you down to your last leaf? I want this pressing firmly. Oops. I hope I did great on my last leaf. Okay, and then okay, I'm done. My white kind of dried, but it's fine. Okay, this is cool. If you would like to add more, right? If you want to paint more, you take your time. If you want to paint more, it's fine, even without the use of leaf. You may also try if you like to have outline. Just be very careful. I don't want to mess this. Let's try if I can. If I'm not messing this up. Yeah, I can. I can. So in my case, I used the black watercolor to outline. Leaf painting. Okay, this is cute. Okay, I think I'm done. I don't want to mess the veins here. Are you through? I would like to have my signature on the filling artist. I'm gonna put, right? That's what artists do. They put on initials. Okay, I will try to put my initials here on the lower right or the signature, right? Something like that. I hope I can do this. Wow. Oh my. Okay, so what I use, yeah. Cute. Okay. So allow me to share with you my masterpiece. Okay, this is a fun activity. Are you ready to see mine? How about let's do it together? Are you through? Okay, please put on initials as well. This is cute. And I have explanation, so bear with me. I'm gonna share my explanation. Why I chose the colors, why I chose the format. Yeah. And I hope this will give, or remind us to be hopeful. Right? Okay. And now you're wondering why, ma'am, are you being so, uh, you know, but meaningful about it or dramatic about it? Okay, I think I'm ready, right, to show my masterpiece. I hope you can see this. Is there anyone who can guess okay, like what's my inspiration? I don't know if you can see the upper part because I just choose white, red and blue, and then white, and then yellow on some parts. Yeah, thank you, Teacher Elaine. Thank you,
Looks
Teacher
like
Elaine.
a Philippine flag po.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, at least, right, it's obvious. So, yeah, that's my inspiration. And I hope that as Filipinos, we'll be reminded to be hopeful, right? Given our situation, we're still demanding for, or waiting, should we say, right, for more vaccines to come, right? And for our family members to stay healthy and for the government, right, to do the right thing, right, and to keep their integrity. Yeah, it's a Philippine flag to remind us Filipinos that we should be proud, right, as Filipinos. So it's one thing, right, that you can also integrate, right, to your classes. They may think of something or symbolism, right, that can manifest their personality, their identity, right, their culture. So you may try to challenge them. But in my case, I didn't tell you that yet because I would like you to be free in thinking, right, and in being creative on what design you'd like it to be. Okay, may I see now your work? Wow, wow. Ah, that's why, Teacher Cherry. That's why you use big paint brushes. That's cute, right? Some also look like what, feathers. Wow, okay, different colors. Wow, I can see, Teacher Raven, the veins. Wow, they're so precise. I like my work. Thank you. Wow, okay, you also included outline, Teacher Andrea. Okay, nice. I like the choice of colors. I think it's more of muted but modern, like contemporary for Teacher Arby with the choice of somehow dark colors. Okay. Wow, Teacher Faith. I like how you right you recreated feathers through the veins with different colors, right, and different parts of the veins. Okay. It worked. Wow, we did great. Okay. And that means yeah, we deserve photo opportunity. Right, with our artwork. Congratulations. Can you give? Wow, I love that. Very Bob Marley, Teacher Ashley. I like the choice of colors. Okay, was that your inspiration? Am I right? The very Bob Marley color, the red, yellow, and green. Okay, let's have our picture. Ready? One, two, three, smile. One more. Okay, congratulations. Can you give clap react? How about Teacher Nathaniel and Teacher Jill? We didn't see your camera. But it's fine. Okay, for now, I'll give you again congratulations, painters. Okay, you're now certified artist with this. Teacher Miguel, you'd like to say something? Okay, I'll give
Ma'am,
you
ako
two
po
minutes.
yung
Mm-hmm.
ma'am, I just want to correct it. I forgot to change my name.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Ashley, it's actually Manipon Miguel.
Okay,
Sorry
yeah.
po.
Please rename. Okay, that's why
Opo, opo.
I'm actually
Thank you
rechecking the
po.
picture with the name. Ah, Teacher Miguel. Okay, thank you for that. Maybe your classmates are also wondering who's Teacher Ashley. Okay, I'll give you what 1 minute. Okay, as fast as you can. Now keep your materials. Right, we don't want to dry your paint or your watercolor. So in my case, yeah, you may also let your paint dry. Right, air dry will do. Okay, thank you. Yeah, use tissue to clean up. Oops. Okay, I'm almost done. Okay, with the water also that you prepared. Maybe you have wet workstation. Okay, I'm done. Are you also through, teachers? Okay, any guess what would be our discussion relevant to leaf painting? Oops. Yes, teacher Jill, you have a message? Ah, it's okay. Ah, yeah, it's
Thank
okay,
you, Ma'am
teacher
Sorry.
Jill. It's okay. Thank you. Okay, are you done cleaning? Okay, wiping the table. Okay, teacher Hazel, would you like to share, right, your experience relevant to this? Like at least long-term benefit of applying this in the future with your future pupils or students.
Yes, yung topic natin for today is about painting.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, how about your reaction, right, or learning insight toward the leaf painting activity?
So, ma'am, sa future ma'am, kung tuloy ko po itong education career ko ma'am,
Of course you will. Pray for it, if this is your calling.
it will become a fun activity ma'am for kids ma'am. Kasi
Mhm.
ng parang sharing ng idea. Like yung
Mhm.
sila po, yung team ng ginawa nilang activity, yung sa inyo po ma'am, katulad ng sa inyo, yung about sa national flag. Yung color ng national flag po, ganun.
Okay.
Magkakaroon ng collaboration and as well as sharing ng ideas.
Yeah, you're right, right? Sharing ideas, collaboration skills will also be developed. Would you like to explain, right, your artwork? Maybe you have meaning behind it. Can you
Yung,
show it to us and then
yung art ko ma'am, siya ma'am, yung color niya ma'am, represents the 4 seasons.
wow, okay. Can you tell us all?
Hindi siya kung gano'ng
Mm-hmm.
ang gamit ko po is watercolor lang.
Mm-hmm.
But siya ma'am, yung theme na sa color na pili ko is about the 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm. I can see summer there in spring. Okay, yeah, I like that. It also gives us, a different vibe or fresh vibe, right? To still be hopeful that this is simply part of, or this is simply a season of life, right? And this too shall pass, right? So, yeah, I just added meaning into that. Thank you, Teacher Hazel. How about Teacher Faith? Would you like to share the meaning of your leaf painting? Wow, you have big drawing paper there. Okay.
Ma'am, yung sa akin po kasi ni-utilize ko lang po yung colors na meron ako. So,
Mm-hmm.
po ako ng colors.
Now, are you happy with the output, especially right, the sides, look like feathers?
Yes po, ma'am. Tsaka po, pag once po na siguro nadigatan ko po ng iba pong list, mabibigyan ko po ng sila.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is a challenge, teachers. You know what? No matter, right? No matter what your output, right, looks like, okay, you can always find ways to do something or to put meaning into it. That is what I always do. It's not about merely output, but it's about being interrupted by two. I think I've shared this during our first class or during class orientation, that I am easily interrupted by two students chatting inside a room. Thus, I force them to tell me what they're talking about, and normally they would say, "Mom, no, it's nothing," or "Mom, it's not related." But I will force them to share it, and then no matter what the subject matter is, I will make it related to the topic. And again, that's not me. I usually pray. I usually pray, right? When that happens, or when my students would, whenever I would challenge my students to ask me questions, right? I usually pray. That's the secret behind that. Because again, I don't know what will be the question, right? But again, just ask for a wisdom from God, and He will give it to you. And to my students' surprise, they're even surprised that even playing ML, yeah, Mobile Legends before, and other irrelevant things, I made them relevant, right, to what we are discussing. And that's a challenge for you teachers, to always make all possible things relevant to your discussion, because students have a vast, right, a range of creativity and imagination. And that's what, just like the advertisement says, right, your imagination is your limit. So I think you're ready, right, for today's discussion. So with that activity, right, we will be introduced to the history of painting. You will appreciate the meaning and purpose of painting and create your own. Initially, you already have created, so congratulations. You need to answer self-assessment questions about painting encounters, paint a subject, okay, of your preference. So in my case, it's a Philippine flag, but you have to observe and apply the elements of painting. So again, this is inductive approach. Assess your work by analyzing the elements, the color, tone, line, shape, space, texture, composition, right, direction, size, time, and movement of your painting. Okay, let's start by this, okay, statement by Pablo Picasso saying, yeah, always keep in mind, every child is an artist. Who among you would like to share your insight about this? Do you believe that every child is an artist? Just like you, right? Even just now, right? Even if it's your only time that you have been reintroduced, maybe, right, to art, and you can say, oh, I have the artist in me. Anyone would like to share? Teacher Marge? Okay. Teacher Marge, are you there? Marjorie? Please share your insight about. Teacher Diana, would you like to say something? Sorry, he's talking now. Teacher Marge first. Teacher Diana. Okay.
Sorry po, ma'am. Akala ko po hindi po ako. Di po ako sanay kasi sa tawaging Marge.
Ay, sorry. Yeah, Teacher Marjorie.
Teacher ko po. So, yun po. Every child is an artist. For me po, kasi di ba po, yung mga bata is nag-uumpisa pa lang mag-explore yan kung ano talaga yung gusto nila.
Mm-hmm.
So, parang sabi po siguro ni Pablo Picasso is yung mga ginagawa po ng bata is may meaning po yun. Medyo hindi lang po natin maintindihan dahil yung utak nila is very artistic. So, dapat as a future teacher, intindihin natin yung kung ano man yung ginawa ng bata. Hindi natin dapat makita yung bad na pangit yan, ganun. Dapat ipakita natin sa bata na medyo pwede pang i-improve.
Yeah.
May mas maganda pang lalabas dun sa artwork na gawa niya.
Okay, yeah, congrats. And at the same time, it's not that we would like to put more meaning into it, but maybe they have their own, right, meaning of that. Yes, someone click raise a hand. But let's have Teacher Diana. Okay, for now.
Naniniwala po ko na yung mga bata po is sobrang artist. Lalo na po yung pamangkin ko na gusto ko lang po yung ipagyabang yung mga doon. Wait lang po.
Yes, sure. Okay, so while waiting, right, you can really see that even the child, right, at home or in your house, would you like to turn on? Oh, wow! Oh, what are the materials used? Are they clay dough?
Bali, ordinary clay lang po siya. Tapos, once po na kasi na binibilihan siya ng clay, parang once na makakita lang po siya ng kahit anong figure, gagawa niya po ng picture.
Wow.
And mahilig din po kasi siya na, kunyari manonood lang po siya ng nasa YouTube, parang gagawa niya ng mismong tao.
Oh, that's cool. Can you show that again?
Si,
Wow.
ano po, yung 5 Nights and Freddy po yan.
Cute. That's so cool.
And sobrang artistic po niya. Kasi kahit ako po, hindi ko po kayang gayahin. Kaya nagagamit siya sa akin.
Nice artwork.
Yung mga patunay po na, pati po yung, yung Among Us po na.
Oh, yeah. May I see? May I see the Among Us figures? With hat, with pet. Wow, cute. Oh my. But he doesn't play that, right? He doesn't play it. Okay. So thank you for sharing. Can we give what's the name of the kid?
Say hi ba, Ed? Say hi.
Hello. Can we give him heart react? Teachers, can we give him heart react? Yeah, thank you. Okay, keep on, practicing. Right, you're doing great, kid. Okay, thank you, Teacher Diana. Okay, for sharing as we continue. Yes, may I ask one to share your painting story since we're talking about history, right, and meaning of painting, but your own story, right, can serve as really history of your own painting story, right? That may not be the entire history of what painting is, but at least, right, may I hear one, right, painting story in the past that you already had and it became memorable to you or impactful or surprising because you didn't realize you can do it. Please click raise a hand if you'd like to share your painting story. Okay, thank you. Teacher Faith, you may unmute now.
Hello, ma'am. Yung sa painting story ko po, gumawa po kasi kami dati sa, subject po yun, yung sa
In my case, I only know map in my case. How about you? What do you call that?
Parang nag-paint po ata kami sa sa katsa.
Okay.
Katsa. Tapos po, para po doon, ayun, art appreciation po. Art appreciation po. Thank you, Pat. Tapos, di ko po kasi alam kung ano pong gagamitin kong materials nun. Tapos, nag-atubili po talaga akong bumili sa National Bookstore ng materials like watercolor tubs. Tapos, di po ako marunong gumamit ng tubs kasi po, squeeze po and then, i-blend ko po siya sa water. And then, sadly po, hindi po kasi nalagay po yung katsa ko po dun sa mismong parang banner ba tawag dun? Kasi parang i-collage po siya.
Okay.
Pati-hatiin po. Pero ngayon po, na-inspired lang po ako sa isang picture sa Google and then kinaya ko po. Nagulat po ako, nag-turn out po siya na maganda po yung kalalabasan. Tapos wait, pakita ko po yung...
Okay, sure.
Ito po siya.
Wow!
Ayan. Dahil hindi
Okay.
po siya nakasama, nilagay ko na lang po siya sa room ko.
Nice. So, what's the
Tapos,
white thing? Is that a fairy? What's the white thing
ano
there?
po, boat po siya.
Ah, yeah, okay. Sorry, yeah, that's a
Parang
sailboat. Okay.
colorful island po in an endless sea. Kaya po, yung mountains po niya color blue and then meron
Mm-hmm.
po tree dito. Tapos, yung sky po niya is more on college and
Mm-hmm. Wow, amazing. Congrats. Can we send heart also to Teacher Faith for that experience? Maybe you also had that, right, in your art appreciation class and without you realizing that you can do it, right, at first try, you can nail it. So again, congratulations, right, to all of you who had that experience as we continue. All right, as you can see on slide, you know, talking about history of painting during the earlier cultural traditions of tribes or religions, even royal courts and states, they are largely dominated, you know, the form, imagery, and subject of painting and decided its purpose, whether it was ritualistic for us, it's now for leisure, or if that's your program, for instance under fine arts you do it right for academic purposes, but before it was merely ritualistic, devotional, decorative, entertaining still at some point, or educational. And painters were employed more as skilled artisans like this, right? Artisan is a worker who practices a trade or handicraft or craftsperson, so just like what they are doing in the graphics on the slide, than as creative artists. So unlike now, right, we always see them as creative artists, not simply someone who is skilled in doing a certain craft. And the notion of fine artists developed in Asia and Renaissance Europe. So prominent painters were afforded the social status of scholars and courtiers. These are even the famous painters, right? Maybe we are only familiar with Pablo Picasso and Vincent Van Gogh, but for the others they belong to different nationalities as well, and they're more right famous painters. So during the 19th century, painters in Western culture started to lose social standing and you know patronage. So some artists responded to the downturn in patronage funding by organizing their own shows and charging an admission fee. Maybe you've watched films as well, right? That they simply establish or build their own museum or exhibit, right, and then just ask for admission fee, right, given to these artists. But they had the freedom to invent their own visual language and even their own pattern, their own distinction, right, to be known in that particular field, right, and to experiment with new forms and unconventional materials and techniques. If you can recall, there's even a live Vincent Van Gogh museum, right? So that is one, benefit also of technology that can, be applied to art. So some painters combined other media such as sculpture. I just included her painters, but we have sculptor here. We have Henry and we have Paul, right? So they combine, right, other media like sculpture with painting to produce a three-dimensional abstract design. So as we can see, for example, with the kid in Diana's house, I think that's more of considering the sculpture part, right? So all the stylistic movements were hard to identify. Some artists addressed common societal issues, so they included the politics or even environmental issues, even poverty, whatnot. The restless endeavor to extend the boundaries of expression in art produced continuous international stylistic changes even in the 20th and 21st century until in today's contemporary time. They also include broad themes like racism, which is very rampant in today's time, LGBTQ rights, and even climate change. So the explosion of international art fairs, right? I don't know. Can you give me heart react if you have been to an art fair, right? And mostly what at PUP or at UP, if you've been there, the explosion of international art fairs and the advent of social media offer new means of expression. So you may also, right, try to do virtual visiting a museum. We have available websites in some first world countries where you can tour around their museum, okay, even though you can't go there physically. Okay, so that's merely it, right? For the meaning of painting, painting is the application of pigments, right, to a support surface to create a painting design or decoration. That's just what you did earlier. We did painting. We applied pigments of different colors on one or flat surface, right? We created our design out of our imagination or creativity, and we even add decoration into it. Okay, another meaning, it says here, it's the expression, right, of ideas and emotions. So normally, for such an artist or a painter, right, for a living at the same time, or at least as leisure passion, right, it's your way to express your ideas or emotion. For other artists, they do that, they express their ideas and emotion in different types of art, but in this case it's more particular with what painting, with the creation of certain aesthetic qualities in a two-dimensional visual language. You like it to be smooth, you like it to have pattern, right, or to be distinct. So in this case, right, the elements of this language, like the shapes, the lines, the colors, tones, textures, are definitely used in various ways, as you can see in on the slide, right? She's painting. I think there's a vase or a flower pot with different, flowers just yet to bloom. I think, right, not yet fully bloom. So in that case, you can also produce, sensations of volume as elements, space, even space in between the objects or subjects in your painting, movement as well. Later on, we'll dig deeper into movement and light on flat surface. So these elements, right, are combined into expressive patterns in order to represent your real. As much as possible, you'd like to transcend, right, reality or realistic representation of what you're painting, or right, from your inspiration. And in that case, you may also try to include supernatural phenomena, right, to interpret a narrative theme, right. It's up to you, it's up to your inspiration, or to how would you like to express yourself. You can also create wholly abstract visual relationships of things if you are into abstract, right. An artist's decision to use a particular medium, such as tempera, fresco oil, acrylic, watercolor, or other water-based paints like ink, right, and caustic, as well as the choice of, later on we'll talk more about those as other medium or media rather, as well as the choice of a particular form such as mural, right. If you like to do a mural painting, easel painting, panel, miniature, right, you may try, right, to paint those clays, for instance, a clay rather, manuscript illumination scroll, if you are still a believer of that or a fan of that. Screen or fan, earlier you mentioned about the katcha, or any cloth or canvas or panorama, any variety of modern forms, that would be based on the sensuous qualities and expressive possibilities of your options. So the choices of your medium and the form, as well as your own technique, right? They combine to realize a unique visual image. For instance, who doesn't know about these two famous paintings? Can you type in the chat as fast as you can, right, the name of the painting on your left, So the power of great painting is that it transcends, right, perceptions to reflect the emotional, psychological, even spiritual levels of the human condition. Right? So correct, you are right. There are many, okay, who are typing in the chat. You're right. That is Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. Okay, it's a painting now in Paris, executed 1503 to 1506 by Leonardo da Vinci. So the sitter was the wife. She's the wife of Francesco del Giocondo, and her enigmatic smile has become one of the most famous images in Western art. And I don't know, depending on your perspective, but many memes have been published online, doing so many modifications of Mona Lisa, and maybe we don't know, but maybe one angle to look at is that can be some sort of disrespectful, right, to the artist, or just modification, right? It depends on how you view that. So the painting is probably of the Italian noble woman Lisa Gherardini, again the wife of Francesco, and it is in oil on a white Lombardy poplar panel. It's on a panel, and it had been believed to have been painted between, again, 1503 and 1506. However, Leonardo may have continued working on it as late, as 1517, and it was acquired by King Francis I of France and is now the property of French Republic itself. How about the painting on your right? Oops. Not a Starry Night. Okay. Not yet the Starry Night. Yeah, correct. Okay, Andrea, Emmanuel, Elaine. Okay. Yeah, even this one have, gained so many memes or modifications online. You're right. It is uh, Edward's painting, The Scream, correct, right? The Scream is an icon of modern art, right? The Mona Lisa for our time. So as Leonardo da Vinci evoked a Renaissance ideal of serenity and self-control, right? If you've seen, right, other paintings of him, in his case for Edward, he defined how we see our own age. It's wrapped with anxiety and uncertainty, and maybe, right, our minds, right, were telling us, yeah, scream it out loud, right? This you can even feel with the dark use of colors on the lower right. Again, this is my interpretation. You may have your own interpretation, but based on, right, the painting, okay, it's full of negative emotions, like, again, being uncertain of what might happen, not just being shocked. That's why you scream, but you are filled with too many negative emotions. So Edvard recalled that he had been out for a walk at sunset. That's why that's the color of the horizon, right? And the atmosphere, okay, because it was sunset and he was just walking, and when suddenly the setting sun's light turned the clouds of blood red. In our case, it's more of a pleasing sight, a pleasing scene to see, right? Any colors of sunset, even a blood red, right, seems fine to us, but for him, right, he sends an infinite scream passing through nature with that bloody red sunset. So scholars have located the spot, right, to and overlooking Oslo, and have suggested other explanations for the unnaturally orange sky, ranging from the effects of volcanic eruption to a psychological reaction by Edvard to his sister's commitment at a nearby lunatic asylum. It depends again on the spectator's interpretation, but the artist himself or herself has his or her own interpretation or expression of ideas. And Vincent Van Gogh, the most famous, someone mentioned it in the chat. Okay, yes, Diana, it's the Starry Night, okay, by Vincent Van Gogh. So he painted Starry Night in 1889 during his stay at the Asylum of St. Paul, right, the Mausolée. I don't know if I pronounced that right. So near Saint Remy de Provence, Van Gogh lived well in the hospital. He was allowed more freedoms than any of the other patients. It's also fun and great to it's fine to it's great to hear stories behind paintings, right? The setting, where and when and how the painter, right, was actually doing at the moment, during those moments. So if attended, he could leave the hospital grounds. He was allowed to paint, read, and withdraw into his own room. So even being confined, right, in the hospital, he made himself productive. Imagine, and he created this very, or he painted rather, this very famous Starry Night. Okay, and he was even given a studio. Right, imagine that, while he suffered from the occasional relapse into paranoia and fits. Officially, he had been diagnosed with epileptic fits. It's his story is uh, somehow devastating. It seemed his mental health was recovering during that time. Unfortunately, he relapsed. Okay, so he began to suffer hallucination and have thoughts of suicide as he plunged into depression. So maybe you might be thinking, ma'am, why is it so common for artists? Right? We can say majority, but some artists have this kind of experience, right? Before they can, I don't know if you heard about this, the death of the daughter of one celebrity or actor, or right. Years ago. I don't know, I can't recall the name, but there's one, and she's also a painter. But looking at her paintings, they were all dark and creepy, right? And yeah, with those paintings, and yeah, and after that, she committed suicide. So in this case, painters are really, expressing not only their expression but merely their stories, right? Beyond these very bright, very meaningful paintings. So in this case, you can see that he returned to incorporating the darker colors from the beginning, right, of his career. And Starry Night is a wonderful example of that shift because of the bright colors here, and blue dominates the painting, blending hills into the sky, the hills here and the sky, right? The little village lays, maybe no one, right? Or not no one, but very few have noticed the village lays at the base in the painting in browns and grays and blues. And even though each building is clearly outlined in black, right, as you notice, the yellow and white of the stars and the moon stand out against the sky and drawing, the eyes of the spectators to the sky. Okay. Okay. Next would be still life painting. Right. Who among you have seen this kind of painting in a museum? Maybe at home. I think it's common to have a still life painting at home, especially what located in your dining area. Who has one? Can you give me heart react if you have a still painting, or maybe it's just a painting turned into poster, painting turned into a cloth, right? Like design or decoration. Can you give me heart? Oh, there's one. Okay, right. Usually in your dining area, in your kitchen, you have still life painting. Okay, so a still life is a painting. It's a painting featuring an arrangement of inanimate, everyday objects like these. Okay, they're just there for decoration, but you use them as inspiration. So the Tate Museum glossary defines a still life as anything that does not move or is dead. They're just there. In French, the still life is called nature morte, literally dead nature or mort. Still life can be concrete or abstract based on the specific time and society in which it is being created. The artist has full influence over the subject of painting and the lighting and the meaning. So as you can see, this one looks so realistic, but if you're going to look close, right, to look closer, you will see, oh, this is a painting. However, there is a great, right, representation of the lighting, where the light is coming from. So in ancient Egypt, as you can see in one of the, on the frame, you can see it's inspired by Egyptian mythology. So in ancient Egypt, people painted objects and food in tombs and temples as offerings to the gods. So even before, if you're going to study about history of reading, history of writing system, the ancient Egypt will be one, right, of those who do this. And the ancient Greeks also incorporated still life subjects into their vases. So normally it's a vase with flower or fruits, right, at the bottom of the vase. So the ancient Greeks did that even in wall paintings and mosaics, and still life painting is a unique art form originated in post-Renaissance Western art. Maybe you'd also like to be inspired by this. Maybe you can set up your room, right? Normally, rooms now are inspired by minimalist, or I've even watched a Muji inspired, right? With the, what's that, refreshing warm tone of the room, and you can set it up and then just paint it. That's still life. Okay, this is one video. Let's watch this. Okay, about still life painting. Why is it not playing? Okay. We can just try that, okay, later. But with that, okay, you will have self-assessment at the same time. Let me just echo what you need to do, or what you need to answer with the best of your knowledge. So with the discussion and experience and activities that we are having, right, living into this generation, what is the meaning and purpose of painting for you? So you may take time, right, to reflect on this. What's the meaning and purpose of painting for you, given that we have presented to you at least just two, right, different perspectives with regard to the meaning of painting for you. The purpose could be based on your experience as well, or observation. Second, you have to narrate your experience of going to a museum of paintings or seeing a painting. I hope that at your age now, you've experienced that at least once in your life. It does not need to be the National Museum. Maybe it's your local museum in your municipality, or maybe in your school, right? You have a mini museum. Just make sure you've seen rather paintings there. Did you take time looking at and observing it? And were there questions in your mind about a particular painting? Not only for the sake of taking pictures, right? I was actually thinking of sending this because the name of the page is not okay, but you're adults, you will understand that. Have you seen, can you give me haha react if you have seen this Facebook post? My sister just shared this to me, and I knew that I need to share this, that it's a gallery of photos of people. The caption of the album says, when you see yourself, is that it? I think when you see yourself in the museum. Let me find that. Let me share this now. Okay, I thought of sending this beforehand, but at least I can explain this first. Have you seen that? No. Okay, where is that now? Okay. Yeah, when you find yourself in art museum, and I was really astonished when I saw the images, because they really look like the ones in sculptures and paintings. Let me share this. 31D, right? Okay. So you may go to your messenger, and you may look at that. I hope you will be surprised the way I was. Okay. And try to scroll. Okay, try to scroll the pictures. The first one, right? The man. Right, the white man, the bearded man. That looked like the sculpture. The one looking at his nails. The bearded guy looking on the other side. The little girl, right? Okay. Okay, you were laughing, but in my case, I was actually surprised when I saw these pictures. The baby, right, with the same outfit, the girl, same eyes, right? Look at that. Will you be surprised? The one with the headphones, right? He looked like I think that's a priest on the painting. The guy, even with, I don't know, I was actually thinking if this guy literally, wore this outfit, the one wearing red shorts, right? I think he planned to be there and wear this outfit. The one in hoodie, bearded guy as well, right? I'm actually, what's your reaction on that? Do you really think that somehow we can really look like these people? I don't know if you believe in reincarnation. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the haha react, teachers. Okay. Okay, earlier I've been talking about elements and kinds of painting. So painting elements are the basic components or building blocks, right, of a painting. And they happen in Western art, and it's generally known to be color, a tone, line, form, even the space and texture. So generally speaking, we tend to agree that there are 7 formal elements of painting. If you can recall, or you might tell me, ma'am, they sound like the elements of art, right? Last time that we discussed, yes, they can still fall under that, but these are, specifically, right, would be observed through a painting. So first is color or hue. So it's the heart. It's said to be the heart of at the heart of a painting, and it's definitely the most critical element since it sets the tone for how spectators feel about the work. And I can totally agree, right, with this because, for instance, when I look at your artwork earlier or painting, leaf paintings, I noticed to some they use darker colors and that actually the painting created or transcends, right, a darker emotion as well, right, or at least a gloomy emotion, while others, you know you use bright colors, right, to transcend bright mood as well. So again, that sets the tone of how me as your spectator, right, feel about your work. And it can be warm, it can be welcoming. For instance, it can also be cold and solid. Anyway, color will set the tone for a piece of painting. So there are countless ways in which you can experiment with color. More frequently than not, you will be drawn to a certain palette that helps to describe the look of your whole body of work. In the case of my sister, because again, she owns these art materials, and what she did when she received this very, for me, very modern watercolor product, she actually created should you call it a gallery of different mixed colors in terms of what the color of the skin, and she's really great at that. So what she did, she made grid, very small grids and boxes, and then he referred to, I think she watched something on YouTube or online, right, to have that color gallery. And color theory is one of the keys to color practice, particularly for painters. So each new color you bring to the canvas plays a crucial role in the viewer's interpretation of the piece. So it's just a matter of you mixing colors, not just sticking to only one shade or one hue of the color. There's also special color that is blended into each paint that touches the canvas. Color can be further broken down into hue, its intensity, and value. I think the generation now is more of the muted, right? I don't know if that's only me, but yeah, many um, many people are into seeing muted, right? Colors for them, it's clean looking, it's refreshing to look at. Okay, another element is a tone. So tone is how light or dark a paint is when you strip off the pigment. Okay, so tone and value are used interchangeably in the painting process. Okay, essentially, it's how light or dark, as you can see right here, with just by simply adding white, right? The amount of white pigment here, you created the tone, right, of this color on the screen. So essentially, it's how light or again dark a paint is when you strip off the pigment. Understanding how to do it will have a huge effect on the way the art is viewed. For instance, with right the color, right, and the tone used here on the pigment on the screen, you can see that can be right shades of the sky, right? That can be one. So tone can be best seen in grayscale usually. So black is the darkest value and white is the brightest. If you like it to be a brighter color, you add more white. If you like to go darker, you go for black. And some paintings have a very limited range of tones, while others include stark contrast. A well-rounded painting often has highlights and shadows adding to the overall effect. I think I've seen that in Teacher Fate's painting, right? And to some, you prefer the bright contrast. Okay. Third element is line. It's characterized as a narrow mark formed by a brush. So earlier, you've seen the line used by by Van Gogh as well, right? So line is line describes the subject of paintings and allows one to imply things like movement. In our case, earlier during the pre-activity, right, the lines were formed right through the veins. So that's a good thing. That's a plus that we were guided. We were guided by the lines. Okay, by the veins rather as lines. So there's no need for us really to outline them because they are already there. So let's thank the leaves for that. Okay, so painters should be mindful of various styles of lines as well. Among these are the implicit lines. Those are not drawn. They're not drawn, but when you right are done with the entire painting, you can see that there's movement, but they're instead indicated by the brush strokes around them. So you don't always need to be very obvious with the line, just literally one liner. But even with the brush stroke, you can see where you're going, the movement of that. Looking back at the Starry Night painting, right, you can see the curve, right, lines, the circling brush strokes as well that were used on the sky. In fact, landscape painters are also concerned with the horizon line, so you can really see and feel the horizon. Right? Painters of both types will bring depth to their work by using the orthogonal and cross-sectional lines used in the drawings. Another element is shape. Okay, if you're going to look at your leaf paintings, I think it's dry now. Okay, your leaf painting earlier, you can see that okay, these leaves have their own distinct shapes, right? For you, it's spade shape. For you, flower shape. It depends on the leaf that you have. Okay, and each piece of art contains the aspect of shape that connects to line and space. So they can meet, right? They can also be separated. They can overlap. So essentially, the shape is enclosed. It's the enclosed space that is made where the lines meet. So in our case, we use the leaf shape, right? Where the shape takes on the third dimension. There is also a form if you're going to go to that dimension. Artists also teach themselves to see the shapes of everything. Usually, we just combine the basic shapes and then create new, right, objects or subjects of painting. So when you break down the simple shapes of the subject, right, it provides you an accurate illustration of the subject in your paintings and drawings. Even with the face, for instance, you can use circles, a shaped face, or oval shape, or oblong shape, even inverted pyramid shape. So it depends, right? It depends on your choice of the shape face. In comparison, shapes can be either geometric or organic. So the geometric are triangles, squares, circles that people are both familiar with, right? The organic shapes are those types that are not clearly known or present in nature, but you're able to use them, Okay, another element is space. So earlier we've seen Teacher Faith's painting with the sailboat, but that's only one sailboat. But I think you can also see the space, right, between the sailboat and the mountains. It's somehow far from it or near. I can't recall, but there is space, right, in between. In this case, you can see two sailboats. One is in front, one is at the back. So space or volume, it depends. Right? Space is another central factor of all form of art, which can be seen to a large degree in painting. So when we speak about space in art, we think about the balance, right, between positive and negative space. Positive space is the subject itself, whether it's a sailboat, whether it's a nature, whether it's leaf. While negative space is the area around the painting. So earlier, uh, some of you, right, made use of the space around the painting, right? That's why many of you made use of different sizes or different shapes of leaves, and then you created the negative space. So in this case, we can see that the sea, right, together with the sky, and there the negative space, the positive space includes the sailboats. So artists should experiment with the balance between the two spaces, the positive and negative space, in order to better impact how audiences perceive your work. For instance, a landscape with, just imagine this, a smaller tree and a smaller horizon. Right? So the smaller tree and the smaller horizon refer to the positive space. They're your subject. You like the spectators to be drawn to the tree and the smaller horizon that allows the sky. The sky is, again, the negative space to take up much of the canvas, will make a very compelling statement or interesting statement. Likewise, painting a portrait, for example, your face or your family member's face or anyone, right, that you stand, they can be the subject or the positive space or face in the direction of the negative space can be as fascinating as it is when they look directly at the viewer, like that of Mona Lisa. Okay, another element is the texture. Can you feel again the texture? Can you feel the texture of your leaf painting? Or I can feel texture on the white area or your canvas, right, or your white cardstock can also create that, but just by the use of the medium or the pigment, you can feel the texture. So paintings are the ideal way to, right, experiment with texture, and this can be viewed as a pattern. In this case, there's a pattern. You can see that. Can you see the texture? Can you give me like react if you can see, right, the texture on this painting by Van Gogh again, with filled with cypresses. Okay, right, and you can see those are clouds, the white ones, right, with the different tones of the blue and white. Okay, so right, so you may see samples also in Van Gogh Gallery.com, yeah, slash painting. Okay, you may go there, you may visit all, or you may see all of Van Gogh's painting. And so, for instance, if you take the color from Van Gogh's painting and see it in black and white, the texture of his brush strokes is striking for him. Likewise, Impasto Painting, if you have seen, this is also an example of that. Depends on very deep textures. So it depends also on your brush stroke or the amount of pigment that you add to your painting. Okay, you can see impasto has been around for a long time, and it wasn't until Van Gogh came along that impasto was used for its expressive qualities. Okay, another element is composition. Maybe you're simply familiar, right, with composition through photography. Who among you love photography? Can you give me heart react if you enjoy photography and you know that even using your phone, you can turn on the grid lines and really be very focused on composition, right? Okay. Yeah, thank you for the heart reacts. So one of the most important for any artist is composition. Composition is the arrangement of the painting. So when there are different ways to see it, okay? So when you put the subject, how the background elements support it, and any little bit you add to the canvas, it becomes part of the composition. So even this one is already cut, that's still part of the composition. Okay, so there are also elements of composition to consider, and these include unity. Last time, right, we talked about these principles, but in this case, these are considered elements of composition. We have unity, balance, movement, rhythm, focus, contrast, pattern, and proportion. Last time, we talked about these as principles of design, but now they're called elements of composition in art. Okay, so composition is different from the subject matter of a painting. So every painting, whether abstract or representational, regardless of subject matter, has a composition. And good composition is essential to the success of a painting. Right? Normally, when you cut, I don't have the pictures here, but when you cut or crop, right? Yeah, this usually happens when you crop your picture, right, from a group of people in the picture, and then you realize the composition of your portrait or your face seem like a one by one photo. So and you don't like that because you need the other, right, subjects or the space, may that be negative space, right, from the picture. So if this is done successfully, good composition draws the viewer in the painting and then moves the viewer's eye across the whole painting. So that is where the viewer can start looking at, and then he can move, right, to the other parts of the painting, and so that everything is taken in by the spectator and finally setting on the main subject of the painting. Okay, so another is the direction. Oops, yeah. Okay, so in painting, the word direction, this one has different perspective. It depends on how you look at it, but I'm presenting you all. So in painting, the word direction is a broad concept that can be translated in several ways. You can think that direction talks about how the actual painting should be presented. For instance, for certain subjects, vertical canvas will perform better than a horizontal one. This one is vertical, this one is horizontal. Well, it depends, right, on the subject of the painting. Well, at least for me, but yeah, I think it depends on that. If you are more looking of the landscape, I think it's better if it's on landscape. That's why it's also called a landscape. Is that in PowerPoint? We call it is that representation? Okay. And where you put objects or how they are used in proportion to others, you may guide a spectator by art. Okay, and in this way, it's often linked to movement as well. And direction is an important feature of design, no matter the medium. Okay, painters are often careful about the direction of light. That's another perspective in terms of direction as an element of painting. It can be the direction of light in their painting. So all the components of the painting must have light coming from the same direction, or the spectators may be lost. For instance, this one is an example, right? The light is coming from the lower right, this one from the back, this one from the back as well, in front, right? And that's why there is a need to observe the lighting and the positioning, if you will include the sun, right, where it sets, where it rises. Okay, so the power of direction. So for ages, artists have been using directional movement to compose their paintings. So directional movement created by line is like this, usually created by a half, you can see, a part triangle, directional movement created by alignment of shapes. So may I ask one volunteer, right, for the next example? By the way, directional movement is any visual movement from the spectator's perspective in an artwork created by a line or by the alignment of shapes. Can be shapes. okay, or color or value contrast. I allowed you teachers to use the annotation, okay, and on the next, yeah, here, Storm on the Sea of Galilee by Rembrandt van Rijn. I know that's how you pronounce the surname. Year 1633. Who'd like to try to draw on the screen, your screen right now, right? The direction. It can be line, it can be shape. Okay. Anyone who'd like to try, please click raise a hand, and then try to show us the direction that you're seeing here, or the shape. Okay, that's a clue. Here we have shape, okay, of the subject of the painting. No worry. There are no wrong answers, only most appropriate ones, so you may try. It's okay. Should I call? Are you shy? Teacher Rachel, would you like to try? What's the, for you, what's the highlighted shape or direction here? You may try to draw on the screen. Teacher Rachel. Or anyone who can manipulate that feature. Yeah, you can select drawing for that. Okay, Teacher Mary. Okay, go. Okay, where are you going? Be careful. Okay, are you still there? You may also erase that part or delete that part. Is that it? Anyone? Yeah. Okay, click annotation there, or annotate rather. Click annotate, and you can find your draw. Teacher Mary Jane, you may, is that Mary Jane? Mary. No one would like to try? Should I call? Teacher Sam, would you like to try this one? Okay, we have Teacher Miguel. Wow, you even use arrow. Okay, yeah, wow, that can be one. Right? For the bow. Wow, okay. Great, great, great. Okay. Nice, nice. Yeah, I can see. That is one. Right? Direction going up. Yeah, you even use arrow, which is nice. Right? Because of the power of the waves there. Okay. Yeah. Oh, there's one more. Teacher Emmanuel, go. Try that. Okay, the direction. Just that? Going up? Okay, that can be one. More try? Okay, but we can consider, yeah, the way you view, yeah, the direction as spectator. I can agree, right, with your annotation here. No more? No more try? Okay, wow, Teacher Andrea. Okay, you saw that. Okay, okay. Can we give these people clap react? Thank you for participating. Great try. Okay, I would like you to delete now your annotation so we can reveal the direction. Can you erase that? You may use the eraser. Okay, are you having a hard time to erase? Yeah, click annotate, click eraser. Oops. Click eraser. Okay, let's reveal now. Okay, wow, okay. Yeah, all of you are near, right? You have the going up, right? And then down, and then what, diagonal shape. So this one, overall, a triangle, right? So in this case, right, the classic is the triangle on which artists depend for giving both balance and dynamics. By the way, while I'm discussing here, you may erase the annotation so we can move forward. We will have more activities relevant to that. So from before Rembrandt, the painter, to after Norman Rockwell, today's art collections are filled with paintings whose composition structure ayaw po ma-delete. Why is that? Because, yeah, I'm clicking eraser, but I can click it because you're the owner of the annotation. Ah, yeah, I can. Okay. I'll just be the one to erase. Okay, I did that. Okay. In this Rembrandt painting, the upper diagonal of the triangle is created by line, right? But the lower two, the upper, right? But the lower two are created by the alignment of shapes. In this Rembrandt painting, the upper diagonal of the triangle is created by the line. Okay, next. Okay, would you like to try? Anyone, you can interact with the annotation feature and then show me different. Okay, clue. We have 3 possible, directions depending on how we're looking at it. So this is Norman Rockwell painting. You can see there's a sleeping boy and a dog. I think the dog is a beagle. Okay, I can feel the serenity at the same time, the exhaustion of the kid while he sleeps. Okay, please try. Anyone would like to try the direction that you are seeing on this painting? Anyone? You may try even if I won't call you. Again, we have 3 possible sets, right, of direction. Okay, wow. Okay, that's one. Congrats. Who's that? I didn't see the name. Okay, that's one. More try. Okay. At this time, it's not just about triangle, but merely direction. So you may try to explore just direction. Okay, but for the big triangle, that's one. Okay, congrats on that. Wow, okay. Wow, okay. Going down because of the position of the boy sleeping. Okay, are you sure that the upper green arrow is really going down for that? Are you sure? Because the dog is looking the other way. You may look at that. The orange one is creating. Okay, that's a very obvious blue line. Okay, with the red line. So you have the same for the red and blue. Okay. You're right for the green arrows. Okay. Going down diagonally, going up diagonally as well. Okay, we have one more. So there are some of you who got the 2 sets of direction. One more. I don't know if you're seeing this one. You can a clue. You can look at the position of the sleeping boy and the dog. So, the red line, the red arrow, and wow, another direction. Okay, you are seeing many. Okay, again, it doesn't mean that I will just present to you 3 sets. Okay, it doesn't mean that your other directions are wrong, because if you see them, meaning that's possible, right? I can agree also with this direction with the black one. Wow, that's a big. Why did you for the green line? Why did you include the negative space here? One more try. Okay, the yellow arrow. How about, yeah, the vertical line, right? Of the dog standing, and another yellow arrow. What's the There should be a partner of that. Thank you also for using different colors. At least we can make your answers distinct. Right? This is so interactive. Okay, Yellow Arrow, they have a partner for that? For the standing dog. Okay, there's one more green. In the future, just in case, right, you will be involved or be part of an online class. This is one good and effective way to have interaction. However, let me just give you heads up because I served as a tutor of my cousin who lives in California, and for I think just for weeks or months. And you know what he did? He loved to annotate the entire slide, the entire the entire page. So just be very uh, careful in terms of monitoring the behavior. Okay. For you, it's the leaning back of the sleeping boy. Okay. There's one. Okay, maybe I can consider. Okay, the red. Yeah, we can combine the yellow arrow and the red arrow. Okay, are you ready? Can you give me wow react if you're ready to see? Right, the directions made by this one painting by Norman Rockwell. Okay. Okay, let me erase. I'll be the one to erase. Let me erase all these and let us reveal. Okay, ta-da! Okay, so congratulations on those who found the 3 sets of direction. But again, just like what I said, if you have seen that direction, well, that means, right, that's also possible even not present on these 3. So congratulations. Can you give yourselves clap react? So we have here diagonal, right, for the back leaning, okay, the triangle, and this one going down, going up with the view of the dog, and this one horizontal and vertical. So there is a variation, right, and the scheme that is also found in this Rockwell piece, opposing diagonals that encounter balance, right, each other like this. There are vertical and horizontal that give stability, I can say. That's right, because a single diagonal movement feels unstable, like when we are falling, right? Some other movement is needed to give it balance, like the last set. And an opposing diagonal can do this, so can a strong horizontal or vertical or a combination of those directions. So in Rockwell's paintings, we see all of those at work. Okay, next, thank you for participating. Next is size. So size can also refer to the scale of the artwork itself as well as the scale of the dimensions within the elements of the painting. So two, perspective when we view the element of size in painting. So that can be the size or the scale of artwork itself, especially if you're ready to pose or hang rather one painting on the wall, and the other one would be the size of all the elements, like literally the subjects, right, inside a painting. So this one is a still life painting, right, by Henry Fontaine Latour. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, year 1866. So for instance, just imagine an apple larger than an elephant, right? That's not normal. So less drastically, we expect everyone's eyes, mouth, and nose to have a very significant balance. Last time, we talked about proportion, right? That can also fall under this. Proportion refers to the relative size of parts of a whole or elements within an object. For instance, in this still life painting, if this pear is bigger than the vase, you would not think it's pear. Maybe you realize it's papaya. Right? So we have to be realistic in terms of that, especially for a still life painting, because you are painting still objects, like not moving objects. So they need to be realistic in terms of size. So two perspective when you talk about size. Another is time and movement. Let me just share my photos from the National Museum. So time and movement. Time can be seen as the amount of time the audience spends looking at a piece. So in my case, I spent significant time. Just enough time because there are other people who like to take pictures. But when I think I spent more time here, right? Observing, right, and examining El Asesinato del Gobernador Bustamante painting. In Right, it's isn't it interesting enough to deter them from walking by your art? So instead of simply walking past through the painting, right? To be sure, you know what, this is one of the aspects, like time is one of the aspects that challenges many painters. They want their spectators to really examine their painting, not just to take picture. And in National Museum, you're also not allowed to copy or mimic, right? What the subject of the painting portrays when you take picture with a painting or a sculpture. So movement is also one of the aspects of the composition, but its significance should not be ignored in the category of time and movement. Why? This applies to how you, right, lead the viewers. For you as a painter, how you lead the spectator's attention to the drawing. So for instance, I think I remember looking at the upper part of the stairs before seeing, right, the drastic, chaotic scene that was happening on the lower part of the stairs. So by having different themes in key places and other elements of art, you can keep the audience going around the painting. This one is the Spoliarium, right? The very famous, and literally I didn't expect it to be that big, and it was very big. Okay, so this in fact is growing the time the spectator spent looking at your painting. In this case, the Spoliarium, often misspelled as Polarium. It's a painting by Filipino painter Juan Luna. So Luna working on canvas. If you stared at if you have stared if you have stared at it for a long period of time when you were there, you can also see the texture, right, of the painting. Luna, working on canvas, spent 8 months. Imagine, because that was big. I mean, you don't expect someone to finish that in one day. So he spent 8 months completing the painting, which depicts dying gladiators. The painting was submitted by Luna to the Exposition Nacional de Bellas Artes in 1884 in Madrid, where it garnered the first gold medal out of 3. Right? Okay. For the Bustamante was a reform governor with good intentions but a violent temper. So he used the military to terrorize the public. He filled the jails to overflowing, but his prisoners were not all government crooks he had caught. Some were people who merely disagreed with him, right? Even before, I mean, it's simply like we're also repeating history. Okay, that also happens in today's time when he jailed the Archbishop of Manila. It provoked a demo there. Okay, so another for time and for movement, most especially these are my pictures from Pinto Art Museum. Can you give me how react if you've been there in Antipolo years ago? I missed going out. Yeah, I feel sad because I can't go out now. Okay, so in this case, yeah, why movement? Because it allowed me to look at this first, right, subject or element of this artwork, going to the bottom part, and I read this: I am nothing without you. So that literally gave me the impression of God, right? That I'm nothing without Him, given that I can also see cross here, that He died on the cross for me. So, well, for me, at least for a spectator like me, that's how I interpret, that's how my eyes move, right, all throughout the artwork. Another is this one. Okay, you have to really walk from one side to another and really look up, right, to examine that artwork. So what I saw, I remember my caption saying thread. I saw thread. I saw letters. I saw scrap. I saw synthetic like these. I think these are acrylic. I'm not sure, but yeah, synthetic materials, and yeah, that's how I interpret that. Okay, for the kinds of painting, so those are the elements of painting. This one, kinds of painting: encaustic, right, tempera, fresco, oil, acrylic, and watercolor. So painting media are extremely versatile because they can be applied to many different surfaces. That's also the reason I asked you, depending on what's available, right, at home. It can be watercolor, it can be acrylic, any right coloring material or painting medium that you have, right? Different surfaces like paper. Basically, I just asked for a paper from you, but later on, you may improve that by leveling up to wood, canvas, plaster, clay, lacquer, and concrete. That can also be used as supports. Because paint is usually applied in a liquid state, it has the ability to soak into porous support material. And these are, again, the painting media with each specific individual characteristic. Okay. But all of these kinds, right, use three basic ingredients like pigment, binder, and solvent. So pigments are granular solids that have been mixed into the paint to contribute color. Earlier, while I was pouring, right, the watercolor from the tube to the palette, I realized it was the water first that I was getting. So I really need to get the pigment from it. Maybe some of the ladies here are familiar with pigment in terms of eyeshadow palette, makeup palette, but in terms of same thing, right? With painting, you have those colors used, right, and palette as well. So the binding agent is a real film forming part of the color. Okay, six main painting media. We have the encaustic. Okay, as you can see, this one is by Jose Maria Cano, Detail of Painting Made in Encaustic, last 2010. Encaustic dates back to the 1st century CE and was used extensively in funerary mummy portraits from Fayum in Egypt. The characteristics of encaustic painting include strong, right, resonant colors and extremely durable paintings. So modern electric and gas tools allow for extended periods of heating. Yeah, there's burning that happened there, heating and paint manipulation. Another is tempera. It's schwa sound. That's why I'm saying it like that. Tempera. Okay, tempera paint combines pigment with an egg yolk binder, then thinned and released with water. So like encaustic, tempera has been used for thousands of years. It dries quickly to a durable matte finish, so it doesn't create too much texture because it's a matte finish. And tempera paintings are traditionally applied in successive thin layers called glazes. Okay, so tempera is a method of painting with pigments that disperse in an emulsion with water, typically egg yolk. Next is fresco. Okay, it is used exclusively on plaster walls and ceilings. So maybe you've been in a Catholic church and you've observed and examined the ceiling, the paintings on the ceiling rather, right? They use somehow medium of fresco, right, with its use in Christian images during the Renaissance period. There are two forms of fresco: the wet and the dry. Okay, so for the wet, fresco technique consists of painting with color mixed with water on a thin layer of wet, fresh lime mortar or plaster. While the secco fresco or the dry requires a binder since the pigment is not mixed into the wet plaster. So tempera is the most common binder used for this purpose. Okay, like this one. Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. It's a dry fresco on plaster. Right? now placed in the Church of Santa Maria del Grazie, Milan. Another is oil. Oil paint is the most versatile of all the painting media. It uses pigment combined with linseed oil binder. It's an oil along with the mineral spirits of turpentine. May also be used as a vehicle or medium. Oil painting was believed to have originated in Europe during the 15th century. Now this one is painted by my sister. Okay, acrylic paint was in as mere project, yes, I mentioned to her teacher. Acrylic paint was invented in the 1950s and became an alternative to oils. That's why now, right, many of the paintings in contemporary period or modern time, they use acrylic. So pigment is suspended from the acrylic polymer emulsion binder, which uses water as medium. So the acrylic polymer has properties such as rubber of plastic. The comparatively long drying time of acrylics is a big difference. So in this case, it was painted on a canvas. Okay, next is watercolor. Okay, the one we're all familiar with, we're all used to using, right? But now you can see various modifications, right, and modern way of using watercolor. So watercolor is the most sensitive medium for drawing. It responds to the lightest touch of the artist, and in a moment it can become an overworked rather mess. It depends on this one is made by a kid, so but it looked good, right, with the use of choice of colors of the birds and the sunflower with only 4 remaining petals. So it depends on the whiteness of the paper to replicate the light through the applied pigment. So watercolor works have a feeling of immediacy, right? Immediate. So the medium is highly compact and excellent for small scale paintings. Other painting media we have enamel, so that's Schwarzschild, okay, powder coat, and epoxy. So for enamel, it's an opaque or semi-transparent glossy substance, as you can see in the picture. That is a type of glass applied by vitrification to metallic or other hard surfaces, like that in the picture. Another is the powder coat. Okay, paints vary from traditional paints in that they do not need a solvent to retain the pigment and bind their pieces in suspension. They are added to the surface as a powder, okay, and then healed with heat to form a durable skin. Look at that. It's fun to play with that. I think this was, I'm not sure because I haven't joined that, but have you joined the color run? Can you give me her react if you have joined that fun run using color pigments? I think I assume they use powder coat for that because they were just throwing these pigments, right? Okay, there's one of you who has joined color run. And epoxy paints are polymers formed by combining the pigment with 2 separate chemicals. This one is really meant for painting your house, right? Epoxy finishes, including powder coats and enamel, are highly durable both indoor and outside. Sana all po. Sana all Sana all have joined color run. Okay, so for your async activity, right, you have to paint it. So I would want you to go through your home and locate brushes such as toothbrushes. Maybe you have worn out toothbrushes, I assume, hair brushes, paint brushes, fingernail polish brushes, pastry brushes, and makeup brushes. So using any type of paints like acrylic, finger paint, poster paint, tempera, primer, oil, watercolor, etc. Paint a subject of your own choice, of your preference on a canvas or any available type, right, of surface or support. Be able to observe and apply all elements of painting to your artwork. So from color, down to movement. Well, that would be implied on the part of the spectator, and I am. Di po afford before. But now, don't worry. You can. I hope that you are able to save still, given our situation. So after that, after painting and after observing, you have to upload your painting there in the G class work. Okay. Then assess your work. You have to assess. There is a additional document to upload. You have to assess your painting by analyzing the elements like the color, the tone, line, shape, space, texture, composition, direction, size, time, and movement of it. So you have to write your analysis or observations in all these elements of painting, right? In one separate document and then upload it. Okay, questions? I would like to remind you to love the art that you create. Okay, you are unique. Every child is unique. Every child is an artist. Every child is special, and they have all these. Or you have an artist in you. Okay, may I ask for a takeaway? Right, from all this, if you notice, let me just wrap up the entire discussion. Okay, at first, right, you were exposed to painting immediately, but without yet the knowledge of all the elements. Okay, so that's pre, and then during, so the discussion, you are gaining knowledge. Oh, this should be the color I've used, right? Because I would like to express a bright mood, or the opposite, right? So, or I need to use a line or enough space, like positive space and negative space. So at first you don't know all those, right? But you're able to create a painting that you can also observe at first. So for now, right, you may also try to do that. Okay, yeah, you know, with the takeaway that you will give me, you may try to use your leaf painting as an example, and then of course you can your answer can be boiled down to not yet considering yet the elements because you don't know them, and then now you will see that you will have a post activity applying what you have learned. Okay, anyone who'd like to share their takeaway using their leaf painting, applying the elements that you learned today? Okay, brave heart. Any brave heart from you, teachers, or should I call? Of course, you need to turn on your video or camera and share with us your learning insights for today's discussion, applying them as well to your leaf painting. Or it's up to you what kind of takeaway you like to share with us. Teacher Janella, please share your learning insights or takeaway.
So, ayun. Ay, wait.
So next would be GL and Pia, okay? So
So,
let's
ayun
have...
po yung dito po sa painting, sa leaf painting po na ginawa.
Mhm.
Kailangan po, para pag naging teacher tayo, kailangan po isipin natin na if yung ipapagawa po natin sa students natin is magiging may enjoy po nila. Parang kagaya din po sa atin na parang habang ginagawa rin po natin yung activity na yun, nag-enjoy rin po tayo. Para mas mapakita nila yung creativity nila while doing the artwork po.
Yeah, correct, right? So I like that idea and attitude of you as a teacher, that you will allow them first because they're kids, right? And they have their own subject preference in terms of their painting. And yeah, for a pre-activity, it's very helpful that you allow them to just explore colors or different elements even though they don't know the elements yet. Thank you, Teacher Janella. Can we give her heart react? Okay, next, Teacher GL. It's your turn. Sorry. You are muted again.
Ayan. Hello po.
Okay.
Yung akin po, ma'am, sa tingin ko po, para maging makatotohanan, kasi yung art ko hindi po siya masyado makatotohanan. Kailangan po nating i-apply yung mga elements na tinuro nyo, which is yung texture, yung tone, yung color, tapos at an early age po kailangan i-impart na natin yung knowledge na yun sa paggagawa ng art. Although hindi naman natin kailangan i-force na kalabasan agad ng artwork nila is sobrang ganda or masunod yun. Maganda rin, mas maganda po na ipaalam na natin yung mga elements na yun.
Okay, yeah, correct. Don't say that your leaf painting, right, is not great because I can see space there, I can see color, I can see line, right? In that way, you can even ask the future learners to examine all their paintings. I mean, their paintings, and then describe what are the colors that you use, or what's the texture that you feel, what are the lines that you employed. Sorry, use more basic word. Next, we have Teacher Pia. Can we give heart react also to Teacher Jill? Thank you for sharing. Okay, Teacher Pia, it's your turn.
Yung akin po, when it comes to art po, hindi naman po natin need na sobrang perfect yung ganun po. Pwede pong abstract kasi po may iba't ibang perception naman po tayo. Pakita yung art. So, hindi na po ako makapag-on kasi po
Okay.
sa internet.
It's okay, it's okay. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's one, right? So you can't really force someone to be great as well, as long as they can, right, express, right, themselves through painting or, different types of art. Thank you, Teacher Pia. Teacher Meljan.
Sa akin po, na-realize ko lang na maganda po yung activity na hahayaan muna natin silang mag-paint before natin i-introduce yung elements and yung types po ng art. Kasi dito po makikita natin na nagkakaroon yung students ng reflection about kung yung ginawa ba nila nung una is okay na, or magkakaroon po sila ng reflection na kung paano po i-improve yung arts nila through yung using po ng mga elements and yung kinds po ng arts.
Okay, wow. Can we give wow react to Teacher Meljan? That's a powerful and impactful, right, takeaway or learning insight. That's right. Thank you for seeing that. I'm actually waiting for that, right, for you to realize that there is a reflection that's happening, that even if you are simply discussing, right, or teaching them or demonstrating the elements of painting, at the back of their minds, that's implicit or implicit learning that happens through reflection. And from time to time, maybe we also have that kind of attitude that whenever we're introduced now to the theories, and then you realize, oh my, for instance, learning by doing theory. This is not about painting, but basically learning, relevant to learning concept, right? And then you realize, oh, that's the reason I tend to, you will come to that realization or reflection that that's the reason I tend to learn this, because I'm a person, right, who learn best, or who learn I'm a person who learns best or who learns fast in terms of hands-on experiences. So something like that. That's why I really encourage you to employ, right, inductive approach or inductive method of teaching teachers. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, do we have more learning insights? Okay, no more. So how about please ask questions relevant to the activity. Paint it. Okay, again, all elements should be seen, should be analyzed or assessed. Again, subject of your preference. So basically, right, of course, you will be graded according to the elements that you have assessed, right, through your work, because again, it's an injustice, I think, for me to just view your artwork and then be in awe, for instance, and if I'm in awe, you got perfect. No, that's the reason we have elements to serve as basis, right, for your artwork. So, okay, may I ask everybody to turn on their videos and cameras, and we'll call it a day. Thank you so much for participating. I didn't realize that we can do all these things, right, in one class. So congratulations with your output, with your sharing, with your participation. Thank you. If you have more questions, by the way, after the class, the activity will be posted. Okay, thank you for being with me. Thank you for your presence. I really appreciate you being here, right, with your participation. Thank you also for, I don't know if at the back of your mind you're saying, ayan, magpapa-prepare na naman si ma, magpapapitas na naman siya ng dahon. But I hope that you are seeing the benefit of that in the future, not only today. I would just like you to realize that it's still more on first-hand experience or concrete experience that would be applicable to your future learners. We just have to be realistic here, and I would like all activities to be applicable for you in the future. Okay, so much for my talk. I'm so talkative. Okay, let's smile, teachers. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, one more. Okay, have your lunch now or brunch if you like. Maybe some of you haven't had your breakfast. Okay, God bless you all. Goodbye. Stay safe. Stay sane as well.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Thank you po,
Salamat
Thank you
ma'am.
po.
Thank you so much. Stay safe, teachers. Drink your water, huh? Let's be hydrated. Okay. Yeah. In 3 seconds, I'll end the meeting. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Bye. Thank you.